I think that single mothers belong to one of the most vilified demographics in American society. And I've never really understood it. You know, I was a single dad. I was raised by a single mom. A lot of people my age, as well as a lot of millennials, were raised by single parents. So why is it that single moms get so much grief? You know, they're the ones who stayed. So what we're going to do today is try to walk in the shoes of somebody who lives in that situation. With me here in the studio is Noe. Noe's a single mom of two. Welcome to In Their Shoes.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about your situation. You've got two boys. How old?
1.5 and 7.
1.5 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
And people make judgments about you because you have two boys by two different fathers.
They do.
Okay, so talk about the situation and what happened in life that led you to have two sons with two different dads.
Right. I got pregnant with my older son at 19 and had him at 20. Mm-hmm. I was still in junior college with the intention to go on to a 4-year institution and then hoping to go to law school after that. I was casually dating his dad. I mean, we were together, but it wasn't like we had plans to get married. Mm-hmm. And when you get pregnant that young, sort of the idea and the belief from society is that then you have to get married and just
mm-hmm.
make it work.
You have to do the right thing.
You have to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we did the right thing. We didn't immediately get married, but we did start living together. And then when our son, how old was our son? Our son was 3.5 when we got married. Also coinciding with our wedding was the end of my 4-year degree at Berkeley, and I stopped wedding planning, and then it was sort of like, all right, we're here and we're married, and this is normal life now, where I don't have the chaos of school and wedding planning. And it just turned out that we just weren't the right people to be together. Mm-hmm. We were together.
And you were too young. And bottom line is you were really young.
We were young.
It happens.
We were also at different places in life. We're 4 years apart, which later doesn't matter so much, but early 20s, there's a big difference there.
Okay, so let's talk about your second son. So it didn't work out, you ended up getting divorced, so what happened with the second son?
Immediately got into a relationship with someone else, and I think that was just sort of a way to make myself feel better and pick myself up. It was a rebound. And got pregnant with our son, and who's now 1.5. And that lasted up until partway through my pregnancy, and then it really just fell apart throughout the pregnancy. We tried to make it work towards the end, and he was gone within a week of our son being born. Within 4 days of our son being born.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
All right. So let's talk about how society views you and some of the things that people say and think about you because of the fact that you're a single mom with two boys by two different dads. Now, one of the things that, you and I are friends, and I know you personally, and I know that you are going to law school, and one of the things you did was you put up a GoFundMe. Asking people to help you. I'm a single mom with two boys, and if you can help me, I'd appreciate it, because I'm trying to go to law school. Anything you can do to help, I'd appreciate it. And I looked at the comments that, because I got posted on my Facebook,
right.
Other people posted it on their Facebook, your friends you asked to do it. Talk about some of the comments that you got from people.
So what was interesting to me about that was I put up the GoFundMe because, I went for student loans. I tried to get private loans. There's rules about how you can't do both. Mm-hmm. And the student loans, they'll only give you so much. And I have to commute. I have to live where my sons live, which is an 1.5-hour commute by the time you get through the train and everything. Mm-hmm. So I had to commute. I had to get there, have to take care of my kids, put them in daycare. My older son has after-school care. So yeah, I went and looked for alternative resources. I kind of felt like I was at the end of my rope. Mm-hmm. And everybody said, people kind of said, if you can't do it, you shouldn't do it. And why should we feel bad for you? It was really negative comments. Mm-hmm. What
were the things that they were saying? 'Cause I saw some pretty nasty things that people were posting about life choices. Criticizing what your life choices were.
It was sort of along the lines of you chose to have these kids and you can't. It was the fundamental theme of it all was you can't have it all. I thought. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you got that from what you read, but the idea that was being pushed toward me a lot was that you can't have it all. You can't have kids. Sorry that you couldn't keep your relationships together. Maybe you should just go get a job. What people don't understand when they say that is for me to go work full-time requires childcare, and I would pretty much be paying for that childcare with the entirety of my paycheck. Mm-hmm. I'm trying very hard to keep my children's lives as consistent as possible. I live near their dads. My son has stayed in the same school. I'm living a little above my means in order to keep him near his dad and in order to keep him near his school.
Let me ask you this, because one of the stereotypes with a single mom, especially a single mom who has children with different fathers, is that you're on the government dole. So address that. Have you ever had to take government assistance? I know you work your butt off.
I have not taken government assistance, partially because I've had some help from my parents, where they could, in terms of babysitting when they can. I work, I've got student loans, but actually if I wanted to, I couldn't get government assistance. I got some through Obamacare. But
you got health care.
I have health care
through the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah, which are the same thing, by the way.
Yes.
In case we didn't know.
There are some people who are a little bit confused about that concept. But other than that, other than
no, I haven't been on welfare. I haven't been on WIC.
Okay, so what is it that you would like, if there's one thing that you could say to society that you'd like them to understand about women who are in your situation, what would that thing be?
First of all, I think there's a perception that it's always the woman's fault, either because actually I'm taking a class in law school about domestic violence.
Oh, I should mention, by the way, you made it. You're in law.
I'm in law school.
How did it work out? How did you finally end up in law school? How are you able to pay for it?
I'm begging the school for more money as we go and taking out more expensive loans, and I'm going to figure it out on the back end.
But you're going to school and you're working on top of it, and you're raising two boys, and you're doing it by yourself.
I am.
Okay, all right, so let's see. So the thing again, let's go back to the question. The thing that you would like people to understand about women in your situation.
So I think, and what I was going to say was, this is a theme in the domestic violence class I'm taking as well, people wonder the same thing about battered women, is why can't you just stay and just make it work? And it just, people have these ideas about how families should work and that you should just stay together no matter what. And that if you don't, it's the woman's fault because it's the woman's job to hold it all together for the kids. And I'm sorry, but my younger son's father left me multiple times, and I can't force him to stay. I don't think I was doing anything wrong, really. And as for my ex-husband, it just wasn't working, and it wasn't ever going to be healthy for our son. What's going to be healthy for our son? He has a fiance now, and our son's going to see, what a good relationship looks like. I can't go back and change that. So I guess my primary message would be that it's not the single mom's fault. It's not the single dad's fault either, but I think that's a less, and maybe you know more about this than me, I think that is less common a thought. But women are not the only part of the family or the relationship that keep it together. And just because a woman is no longer with her child's father doesn't mean she's failed or that she's living off of welfare or WIC.
One of the things that people will bring up when they're criticizing single moms and women in your situation is, again, life choices. Are there any life choices in relation to your family, your children, your situation that if you had to do over again that you would? Are there any life choices you made that you regret?
My children weren't born for lack of trying not to. I wasn't trying to have children. I was taking the correct steps not to have children. So I think the only two options I would have had with either of my children would be to have an abortion or to put them up for adoption. I'm not against those things at all, but they're just not for me. So I don't really see that I could go back and make those choices. It just wouldn't be any different. This is what happened, and it is what it is, and I love my children,
and you don't regret you don't regret.
No, it's just we just live a little differently. Everybody goes to their dads at the same time and goes and visits dad, and then they're with me, and that's just how it is. It's just a little different.
So what's ahead?
More law school, a lot more law school.
What kind of law are you going to practice?
I'm thinking either criminal or family. If I do family, I have a lot of personal experience in that. So I don't know, definitely criminal or family. We'll see where it goes from here.
Noe, thank you for giving us the opportunity to spend a few minutes walking in your shoes.
Thank you.